Hey, where are the white women at?
Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Seeker with another video. Sorry I haven't been on much. I've been sick. Ended up with a minor injury on the neck. So yeah, the most that I was able to do since I've been laying in bed for a while is stream Elden Ring, which apparently is pretty popular. And it's my first time playing it, etc. So yeah, go check that out. Anyways, besides that, I've been feeling a lot better. Still got some pain, but that's not what you're here for, right? You're here because you want to hear what I got to say about whatever. So today's video, it's going to be about a certain clown that I like to call 3 equals 1, or which is basically true underdog. That's just me mocking him because he thinks that 3 cameos equals 1 character, according to one of his old videos. It's kind of stupid, by the way. Originally, I wasn't really going to pay attention to this guy, but you know, I was watching a video of someone giving a reaction to him, and he says a lot of stupid things that kind of bother me and get on my nerves. So we're going to be talking about that. So here we go. I want to give him a chance to talk. I'll reply whenever I can, and we'll stink and go from there. Let me see if I can turn off the background music for now. All right, let's play this.
People with valid criticisms, or even people Mortal Kombat 1 haters are dumb. I'm not talking about people.
Okay, so apparently Mortal Kombat 1 haters are dumb. I wonder what he has to say, because this guy is a walking pile of contradictions. You know, sometimes he makes good points, a lot of times he doesn't. And I think the issue is that he's an extremely shilly person. You know, he's a really big shill. You know, for someone who apparently doesn't get paid by NetherRealms, he sure loves to gobble on their you know what. And I think that's strange. I don't think there's a problem with liking a game. If you honestly like this stupid ass game called Mortal 1 Kombat, that's your prerogative, but to like go to this extreme to defend this game, you can like something and say it has issues, right? And you can also hate it because of the issues or whatever, but to like pretend like this game is amazing, I don't know, man. That says a lot of bad things about you. I don't know. I think a lot of people who basically suck the balls dry from this game are basically fucking delusional. Give me a second. I'm drinking some coffee here.
People with valid criticisms, or even people that prefer other games. That's completely normal. I'm talking about the people with.
I mean, people can honor. I want to steal a page from Asmongold, right? And I think I agree with this, to a certain degree, right? He basically says that you can dislike a game for whatever fucking reason you want. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to explain to yourself. If you don't like it or like it, that's your fucking business. And no one else gets to tell you how you should feel about a game. If you don't like it for the most stupidest reasons, it's okay. And I agree with that to a certain degree, right? I think you should be able to explain yourself or whatever, but at the same time, you don't really have to. So I guess I agree with what Asmongold said. If you don't like a game for whatever fucking reason, cool. I'll personally think it's stupid if you have a stupid reason, but that's personally your reason and you're valid for having it. So I agree with Asmongold in that sense. But
With really dumb takes. The people who find any reason to.
okay, combos are too. Let me pause this here. Combos are too long. It. Yes and no. So let me explain that. I think the real problems with the combos is the mere fact that the combos don't take any real skill to do. Like, for example, Tekken 8 is easy nowadays, right? So Tekken is a modern audience kind of game, which is fucking stupid. So they made it easier so people can into it. And that's bad. But even in Tekken 8, to some degree, not every character, but to some degree, to be able to pull off a combo, it's easier than Tekken 7. Tekken 7 took a lot of work. But mainly in Tekken before the modern, let me put it this way, mainly in Tekken before the modern audience bullshit, to do a combo took actual skill and timing to do. And even though it's easier in this Tekken 8, you know, to some degree, timing still works, but it takes more skill than Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat combos is not skill related or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's basically you getting your handheld to make you feel like you're actually good at the game when you're not. And it's annoying. And it's the reason it feels long is because it's annoying that someone is getting rewarded not because they earned it, but because, the game decided to hold your hand. And essentially now you're stuck in this long ass combo that takes 50% of your health or more, and it's not really deserved, and it takes no skill to do. It really doesn't. And half the time you can't even do these combos because, you know, you're more stuck in games where you have to both low poke each other, which is fucking boring and etc. That's why I stopped playing it. That's why I don't play it. That's why I deleted the game. I don't play the game. And before you start talking shit saying that I just suck at the game, I could win 12 matches out of 15 with no problems and using basic moves. I don't even have to use combos, and I can still beat people with basic ass moves. That's how easy this stupid ass game is. It's trash. And that's why MK9 is better. That's why MKX to a degree was better. That's why MK11 was better. To a certain degree. Even though MK11 was kind of trash. It's better than MKY. I'll tell you that. But I won't go into all that. And I know you're gonna say, "Oh, but Seeker MK9 was broken." Yes, but it was broken in a fun way. It wasn't broken in a stupid way. Unless you were some type of pro player, because the modern pro players, instead of actually trying to play a game like normal and showing off their skills, think that they have skill by essentially exploiting a mechanic in the game that's busted, and they're pretending somehow they have skill. That does not take skill to do. That's easy fucking shit to do, and people love to exploit it because a win's a win. No integrity. That's not skill. That's just you playing bustedly, or however you want to say it. Anyways, cameos hurt my brain. Cameos, I don't think it necessarily hurts people's brain. I think it's people are disappointed because they wanted a tag team and we got a cheap ass wish list wannabe tag system. That's not even, assist system. It's not even a really good assist system at all. So, Skullgirls has a better assist system. Marvel vs. Cancom has a better system and I find it funny because people always try to like compare MK1's assist system to Marvel vs. Cancom, but they're not really the same. In Marvel vs. Cancom, you come out, do a move, and get the fuck out. Your characters in Mortal Kombat 1 do more than that. They add health, damage, debuffs, etc., and it's fucking stupid. So you're not only fighting a game that barely works, you're fighting an opponent plus another character, and you only have what? Defenses to barely fight one character? Okay, sure, whatever. I just like the story, so the whole game is bad. No, not really. I mean, there, the story has problems, like the whole Marvel multiverse bullshit. And if they would have, I think it could have worked if they did it better. Um, but I would have preferred they didn't do. If they were gonna do the multiverse thing, it should have just been Shang Tsung and that's it, maybe. But I would have loved to see just a new story. I think the concept for how the story began is good, but then after, like, when they go to Outworld, basically where Raiden's fighting people and then fights the rest off screen, that's when it started fucking up. I think that essentially, let me put the music back on because anyway, I think essentially, you know, they fucked it up. But some things were cool, but poorly executed as well. I don't want to go too deep into that, but you catch my drift. I'll probably, you know, I made a few videos on this. I'll probably make some more some other time. Let me know if you want me to do that. Anyways, not enough content. Yes, this game has no content whatsoever. Like, wow, it has one expansion and some DLC characters that most people don't really like. Noob Cyber was cool. Serax and Sector, I would have preferred them to be different characters. Female Lin Kuei, Cyber Ninjas, that would have been cool. Gameplay wise, they're good, I guess, but the characters themselves are kind of shit. I do like how Sector behaves, and I do like how Cyrex behaves. It's just the way the characters look are horrible, and some of their behavior is just ugh. If that makes sense. I prefer MK11, therefore MK1 better. I mean, you got to ask yourself why it is that people prefer MK11 over MK1. And I hated MK11 to a certain degree. And I would rather play that than play MK1. MK1 is pretty fucking bad, my guy. Like, come on. Like, don't bullshit us.
To hate the game, and sometimes they even make things up just to hate on that too. So today's video is all about them, because it's okay to criticize Mortal Kombat 1. I myself have made entire videos about that, but blind hatred is never cool.
You've criticized certain things, but I think it's mostly, and I could be wrong, but I think it's mostly because you want to save face. Most of the time, you're pretending this game is the most amazing game ever, and this is the most money grab, lazy MK game I've ever seen in my fucking entire life. And you're sitting here pretending like it's God's gift to the world when it's not. This shit is shit. Also, blind hatred is bad, right? But I think, like a leftist, a lot of people like to use certain words that don't mean what they mean to basically make someone else look bad. I don't think people have blind hate. Maybe some stupid people do. You know, there's always that few dumbasses in the group, right? But I think most people hate this game because there's a lot of things to hate on in this game because this game is fucking trash. Also, blind following and blind ass kissing is not good either, buddy. Come on now.
But it can be very funny to mock. First,
yes, but when you want to mock something, you better make sure that you're not doing it yourself. So you're criticizing people for blind hating, but you're, for the most part, blind sucking off NRS like every idea is godsend. And again, I could be wrong, but it comes off every time that you do something that you disagree with, which is extremely rare. It comes off as just you trying to save face so you don't get as much hate. That's basically it.
up, we have the cameo haters. These people are the definition of insanity, because Mortal Kombat 1 has been out for over 1 year, and yet on any post about this game, you're guaranteed to find these haters demanding the cameos get removed from the game.
Yes, because what happens is Mortal Kombat was a single 1v1 game. And people loved and wanted tag team mode to come back. And instead of getting tag team mode come back as a separate mode, because no one wants as a separate mode, right? We get a half-assed, shitty version of what an assist game is like. And instead of making that individual mode. They made it the entire game because they thought somehow making a single player 1v1 game oh, excuse me. They made a game that was supposed to be a 1v1 game into a shitty assist game instead of making it, you know, a separate mode. They made it the entire game, and people are very pissed off about that. Not because, not just because the game, the, you know, the assist mode is basically garbage and broken and poorly executed. It's also because of the fact that people want to play 1v1. If they were going to add this shitty ass assist mode, what they should have done was make it a separate mode. Instead, they didn't. There was also tag team in the coding of the game, and they removed that, making people even angrier. So yes, when you make a game that's supposed to be 1v1, right, into a shitty half-assed assist game, you know, people are not going to be happy with that. You know, tag is a totally different thing. You always want to make your fighting games 1v1, right? And you should always do... This is why I love Mugen, right? So Mugen Mortal Kombat games are 1v1. Then you have 2 extra modes. The other 2 extra modes are... Well, more extra modes than 2, but I'm talking about, you know, you'll see what I mean. So the normal mode for the main game is 1v1. The second is tag, or rather, how do I explain it? Because it is tag, but it's weird. So basically, it's a form of tag where, you know, you still play 1v1, but you can switch your characters out, right? Or when you die, your character... it's hard to explain because there's so many different versions of tag. So essentially, one tag mode would be you just fighting, and your character dies, then the next character you chose comes in, right? Then there's another form of tag, which is both characters are on the screen fighting 2 other characters on the screen. Then there's tag with assist in it, or there's just, you know, regular assist mode, because Mortal Kombat movies have a whole bunch of different versions of tag and assist, but they're separate modes essentially. Then you also have survival mode and etc. And these are separate modes, and people would be happier with that being separate modes. So what I would have done as a Mortal Kombat developer, because I don't want to keep, you know, being too long on this point, is I would add a normal 1v1. Then the second mode would be some kind of assist mode. And then the third mode would have been full tag team. So people can play either one of those 3 if they enjoy whichever. And people would be much happier with something like that than the whole game, or the main game being tag, or the main game being assist mode, because it's kind of shit to do that. Especially because not everyone likes that. Most people don't want to play assist, and most people don't want to play tag as your main game. They want to play that as separate modes, and that's why people hate cameos, besides the fact that cameos are fucking broken, trash, and poorly executed.
And they actually think this is gonna work 1 year later. They're still trying this tactic. Like mentioned earlier, it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, yet expecting a different outcome.
Isn't that fucking ironic, huh?
Cameo characters aren't going anywhere. They're not gonna get removed from the game. Can you imagine what it's like to be one?
Actually, cameos have been cameos for the next game will be removed. That's a 100%. That's just not ever gonna happen again. And if they do, people are not gonna be very happy about that, right? like if they keep it, people are not going to be very happy. If they remove it, people are going to be very happy. And it's funny because even the single storyline has situations where you don't use cameos at all, and that's more fun than playing with cameos. Imagine fucking that. I had more fun fighting Raiden as Kun Lao without cameos than I do with them having cameos. Imagine fucking that. Wow. So yes, they have removed it in a single player mode a few times, and that plays better than the normal cameo mode. So if they wanted to do that, they could, but I know you're going to make up some excuses about how that would not work and etc., even though clearly in the story mode they made it work. That makes no sense. You're contradicting yourself because, you know, you like all over, you know, NetherRealm's balls.
One of these people just sitting in front of your phone or computer screen all day and waiting for someone to post anything about Mortal Kombat 1 and then immediately spamming delete cameos now in the comments. Just imagine that being your life. Listen.
Yeah, because people want them to be over, so the more you spread the message of delete cameos, the more the devs will pay attention. That's kind of how that's supposed to work, actually. I mean, I would message the devs directly, but the devs are so woke and stupid and greedy that, you know, they'll probably end up blocking you. I think people have the right to voice their opinion whether you like it or don't, because this is a free society, or used to be at least. And you know, the thing that they shouldn't do is attack devs, but they have every right to go and bitch about stupid shit devs do, because we're the ones giving them money. If it wasn't for us, they have no money, which is what I find ironic and funny, because I remember when Vic Mignogna was accused falsely of the situation that happened to him, right, for kissing a fan on the cheek and giving them a hug. And I remember getting into it with one of the female voice actresses. I forgot what her name was. Jamie Markey, I think is her name. And she was shading on the fan base and etc. And I told her personally, because she went into a back and forth with me, which is funny. I told her, I was like, listen, I find it very ironic that you people think that because you got money or something like that, or you're famous, it's because you're special or something. It's like, no, the reason you're famous and etc. is because we put you there. The reason you're rich is because we supported you by buying your stuff and etc. and giving you our money, because that money isn't coming from someone's ass crack magically. It's coming from the fan base that's supporting you. So you depend on us because we're the ones that are giving you fame and money. That's how that works. And I told her, I was like, guarantee you, the next con you go to, you're not going to have a line because you want to disrespect your fans. She said something stupid back and then blocked me. I made a new Twitter, and like a week or so later, maybe a month or so later, I checked her page, and she literally posted a video complaining because that her line at the con was so empty that she was pissed off. And I told her, I was like, you remember me, the guy that you blocked? I told you, don't ever disrespect your fan base, because we're the reason you have money. We're the reason you're famous and etc. So you depend on us. And NetherRealms is the same way. Every company is the same way. If you piss off your fan base, you're not gonna have money anymore. You're not going to have that little fame. You're not going to have shit. That's why you never attack your fan base, ever. It's the most stupidest thing someone can do. But anyways, let's keep going.
It's okay to want a 1v1 mode added to the game. I myself think that could be fun and interesting to play. But if...
Yes. Okay. And you're bitching because people are bitching about cameos. They should have made it a 1v1 game and added cameos well, I don't think they should have added cameos at all. But if they wanted to, they could have made that into a separate mode. And they could have brought tag team, because that's what people wanted. A tag team mode. Not cameos, tag team. But apparently NetherRealms is fucking retarded. It doesn't understand that concept of tag team. Tag team means something else from assist.
If you're hating on the game solely because it has a new mechanic, then that's just crazy.
No, they're hating the game because the mechanic in the game is so basically they added a new mechanic into the game that instead of adding it for a single mode, for a different. Let me re-explain that. Instead of adding that for another mode, they decided to make that the main game. That entire mechanic became that entire shitty mechanic became the main game instead of becoming a separate mode. So people are pissed off because the game, which was a 1v1, is now dominated by a shitty assist mechanic that most people don't really like, except the people who think they're good when they're not. The whole system is created on the fact that a lot of people suck at the game, and they want you to they want to basically have the game hold your hand. I remember when you would take characters to the number 1 spot, number 2, number 3, because of your skill. Nowadays, it's the character carrying you to that spot. Why do you think the last time I saw a stupid MK1 tournament, why do you think most of them were Omni-Man? Or, well, no, it wasn't Omni-Man. It was Homeland. Most of them were Homelander. Some were. It was the same fucking characters, and these are supposed to be pro players, my guy. And they're all mostly playing Homelander. That tells you something. The top 10 people in that tournament were mostly playing Homelander, with one Ermac, and I forgot who the other one was. That tells you a lot. But delusional people will always be fucking delusional. Because most people can't accept reality. They gotta live in a fucking fantasy. Same thing with the whole more than 2 gender bullshit.
But here comes the craziest part. Some of these cameo haters will say that MK9 was better because it had a full tag team mode.
Well, the tag team mode in MK9 was pretty good. And it does make it better than MK1 because it's a separate mode, and tag team was actually pretty fun to play. MK1 doesn't have tag team, and its assist mode is fucking shit. So, yeah, in a sense, yeah, they're kind of right.
That's right, the same people who can't handle cameo attacks are complaining the game doesn't have 2v2. Listen.
See, people can't handle cameos not because it's a lack of skill. Well, some people it is, right? It's mostly because the defensive mechanics in the fucking game are built around fighting one person. But in this game, you're not fighting one person. You're fighting 3. You're fighting the player, the cameo, and the game. Because this game has a lot of fucking issues. And the devs. Because for some reason the devs just... I don't know, they're fucking retarded in this Mortal Kombat for some reason. But yeah.
Listen here, child. If you can't handle cameos, then a full tag team mode would have you crying on the floor trying to delete this game, but your eyes are too filled with tears to see the screen.
No, that's very false. You see, what happened was that in MK9 there was defense mechanics to fight 2 people. But you're not fighting them at once. You're fighting them individually. And in Mortal Kombat 1, you're fighting 2 people at once. Because if I go low because you attacked me, right? While you summon a cameo that does an overhead, one of you are going to hit me. So, where's the defense mechanic for that? Oh, that's right. There isn't. There really isn't. Stupid.
Once again, some of these cameo haters are crazy. They think cameos are annoying and tough to deal with, but can't comprehend that fighting off 2 full enemies at once would be way more frustrating for them.
You're not fighting 2 people at the same time when you play tag team mode. Stupid. You're not. It's funny because you make this face like you said something smart, but this is the most stupidest fucking thing you said. Cameos, you're fighting two people at once. Single player tag team mode, you're kind of not. Your character has to switch to another character. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it had an assist mechanic, and the assist mechanic was not even a fucking problem as much as it is in MK1. So you're wrong. And the fact that you think you said something smart here with the stupid ass face that you're making is sad.
And since they bring up Mortal Kombat 9, for the record, just so they know, that tag team mode was absurdly busted. We're talking...
Yes, but it was busted in a good way. And I'm going to speed it up because I don't want to keep hearing you for the next like 30 minutes. And it was busted in a good way because I had this game and it was fun as fuck. And it was busted. Yes, it was busted in a good way. There's a difference between being busted in a good way and being busted in a shit way. So, I if you don't understand what that means, 3 = 1, I suggest you go and search that up on Google.
Block strings that were impossible to escape. You had to get hit on purpose and then pray you had 2 bars to use Combo Breaker. But then if you did get hit in Mortal Kombat 9, you were guaranteed to die because pretty much every character in that game had a touch of death combo with the right partner. And you're telling me you would prefer that over the...
And you're acting what? And you're acting like what? There's no touch of death combos in MK1? Hey, it was worse than MK1. You had one character that could do infinites. That's why you had Homelander get nerfed. That's why you had, I think, Omni-Man get nerfed. Sindel had to get nerfed. Rain had to get nerfed because they were doing infinite combos. Or whatever. So, okay, so 2 characters. Look, they're both bad, but you have to understand that MK1, when it comes to that point, is worse. MK9, at least, you could dodge and etc. And there's always going to be players who are going to find the most broken shit and use it because they don't have skill. They just want to piss people off by using broken mechanics because their excuse is, oh, well, the game has it. No, it's like your job as a player is to get fucking good so you don't have to rely on something broken that the devs can't fix or haven't fixed yet. It says more about you as a player than it says about the devs, because if there's an issue in the game where it's creating a bug and you exploit that to win, you're kind of shit at the game then because you're a dumbass. Of course, no one's going to beat you if you're using a broken mechanic. Your job as the player is to have some fucking integrity and be like, okay, I'm not going to use that just because it's there. It's not the dev's fault. Well, it is the dev's fault for it being there, but it's your fault for using it. You don't have to use it, but you choose to because most of you are dickheads. You're so desperate for a fucking win because you're such a loser that that's the only way you feel better about yourself. It's like MK1. Most of the reason why most people like it, well, not most people, most of the reason why there's people that like this game and defend it and show for it is because these are the people that were so fucking trash at any other Mortal Kombat that this is the first Mortal Kombat that actually lets them have a win, because the whole game is busted and stupid and it's for people who basically have no skill. And suddenly, because now they think they have skill, you know, oh yeah, this is amazing because I'm finally winning for once in my life instead of getting my ass beat. Trash. And I'm not saying everyone's like that. I'm just saying the people who like suck the dick dry of NetherRealms when it comes to this fucking shitty ass game.
The cameo system. Now, maybe if that tag team mode was balanced, I would agree with you, but we're talking about NetherRealm here. These guys are the kings of unbalanced gameplay, especially...
Yes, but unbalanced does not always mean bad. The tag team mode, again, was unbalanced, but it was unbalanced in a fun way. And MK1, who does not have a tag team mode, is unbalanced in a poorly, horrible way. It was done horribly in MK1. And it's an assist game. It's not a 1v1 game. It's an assist game. It's not even tag. I guarantee you if they had tag in MK1, that would be a whole lot better than what the fuck we're getting here in this game. If MK1 had tag team, people would accept that more than whatever the fuck Cameo is this. And it would be easier to deal with because you would have to switch characters, and the only assist that you will get is one move only, and that's not gonna really break the game that crazy. You know what I mean? It's not gonna mess up the game. It's just gonna be like MK9 essentially. But again, they restrict your defenses in MK1, even though you have to literally fight 3 people. The game, well, 4 people. The devs for the codes that the stupid decisions they make. The game, because of the bad coding and shit and bugs and etc. The player and the cameo. And you only have a defense mechanic that's for one person, and you're fighting basically 4 things in the game. Come on now, use your fucking brain, man.
Especially back in Mortal Kombat 9, but even in Mortal Kombat 1, people complain about how the same 5 to 10 characters are overpowered. And you expect those same developers to make a tag team mode that is not crazy broken and super frustrating? You're crazy. Trust me on this. If you can't handle cameos, then you won't be able to handle tag team because it's
Again, false. Already explained. Keep going.
literally 3 times as complicated. Next up, I want to talk about the combo haters, but real quick, a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Dave. Dave is check no late callers. You can buy at dave.com, check and no late fee.
No one cares about your sponsorship, bro.
DIC for advances typically in a Mortal Kombat game. They exist somehow, even though this series has had crazy combos ever since the very first Mortal Kombat game. If you think Mortal Kombat 1 didn't have high damage combos, you're crazy. If you think...
Yes, that's why. Look, the games were fun because it was something new. And I agree that the whole high damage attacks were fucking stupid. I think that people needed to balance it a bit better when it came to that. But these are arcade games. People just came there to hang with friends and etc. Right? We're talking about console ports now. There's no more arcades. You know, most of them are gone. Half if they still fucking exist nowadays. Totally different crowd, especially when you're putting money into a slot machine. You know, they wanted the games to end better. That does not translate very well when it comes to console games. Yes, they have broken shit, but back then there was no updates. You just got what you got. That's why it's excusable to that degree. Nowadays, devs can literally fix shit, and then the next day or next couple days send a patch, and it's done, and it's fixed. The problem is that when you add too much damage to a game that's supposed to have combos, because you want your combos to do the damage, not every punch that you do take half of your fucking health. Makes no sense. So of course people are not going to be happy about that. The damage is too fucking high in this game. It is too fucking high. That's why people are not very happy with the combo system. Plus, the combo system is holding your hand. If it took skill, people would be more happy, because then that would say, okay, this player is better than me and I need to get good. Not, okay, let me put this controller down because I can go make coffee, I can make a burger, and then come back and I'm still in a fucking combo.
Mortal Kombat 2 didn't have touch of death combos, then you're crazy. And if you think Mortal Kombat 3 didn't take those combos and crank them up to 11, then you're also in denial. And I bring that up because usually the biggest combo haters bring up the old Mortal Kombat games and say that's when the series was best. Well, buddy, I hate to break it to you, but those games had crazy combos too.
Yes, but here's the thing. Most of the people who did touch of death shit were rare and were, you know, I wouldn't call them pro players, but they were essentially gamers that would go to competitions, and competitions were rare at the time, so it was rare to deal with that. Most people didn't fight like that, and half the time when people used touch of death bullshit, or rather broken mechanics, people would get laughed out of the building and banned. Nowadays they use technical terms for shitty gameplay and then pretend that somehow that's skill when it's not. I forgot which pro player told me, they're like, my job as a pro player is to take a game mechanic to find out how the game works so I can exploit game mechanics and win. No, That takes no skill. That's just being trash. That's literally what modern, not all of them, but this is what a lot of modern pro players do. They exploit game mechanics so they can win. It's not about skill anymore. It's not about getting good and etc. and trying to overcome shit. It's about now exploiting shit. And somehow I'm supposed to sit here and clap for you because you think you're some grand shit because what? You used a broken mechanic or exploited something in the game that was fucked up, but the devs will sweep under the rug because reasons. Come on now.
The only reason you don't know that is because you never fought against skilled players. And that's okay, but don't...
Bruh. No one cares about pro players, my guy, right? And we fight skill players a lot. And you could tell when a player is actually skilled versus a player who just uses broken mechanics. I can accept a loss from someone who actually beat me through skill than someone who I know was just spamming the same broken shit that you can't really do much about, because what they'll do is spam the thing twice. Now you understand to block it, then they'll do something else to get you to the same position again to basically mind game you so you can get stuck in a move, you know, that you can't do anything about, because that's what they ultimately go for. Because that's their bread and butter, because they got no real skill, so they have to rely on doing something to confuse you so they can get in, hit you, and then put you in that same broken mechanic over and over and over. I would know. I've been hit with a lot of that shit. But I can accept someone being better than me and being like, I need to get better, than someone just getting their hand held because of a broken mechanic and etc. because they fucking suck at this game. Totally different outcomes. Totally different perspectives on how to handle the two situations I just said. One feels like I need to get better and it's my fault. The other one feels like, you know, this game sucks. And people shouldn't be getting their hand held just because they don't want to, you know, put in the work to get better. It's like now I'm playing Elden Ring and I got fucked up a lot. A lot of times it's because I need to get better. And guess what? I try to get better. And when I get my ass handed to me by a couple bosses a couple times, I come back and destroy the boss. It's that simple. And that's mostly on me for being trash at the game. Because it is an extremely hard game and it takes skill. Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't really take any skill. I literally had a friend of mine come in, try the game once, in the first 5 minutes he's already doing fucking combos and etc. He's never played the fucking game. He puts the remote down and says, this game takes no skill, does it? And I told him no. So a player who's never played this game can tell me that this game is lacking and holds your hand and takes no skill, but somehow we're the bad ones for pointing that out, who have more experience with the game. Bro, literally a player who's never played this game is telling me this. So imagine someone like me who has more experience in the game telling you the same fucking thing the person who has no experience with this game is telling me. The problem is, again, people who suck at the game now feel like they're amazing, so now they're kissing NetherRealm's ass. And some of you get paid by NetherRealms, or I don't know what it is. You have this infatuation with having NetherRealm's balls in your mouth that you just can't help but suckle on them.
Stand here pretending like you know what you're talking about. To break it down in simple terms, a combo hater is someone who believes that Mortal Kombat 1 is bad because the combos are too long, or the combos do too much damage. You think
the combos do too much damage, and the problem with the combos being too long, like I said before, is because you don't earn the combos. They're handed to you because they're simple as fuck to do. It's not the same thing with Tekken. It's not the same thing, especially with Street Fighters. And Street Fighter 6 is easier, and guess what? It's still hard as fuck to do combos. You have to precisely know when to time the combos that you're doing to even do them. It's not the same thing in MK1. You just do it and that's it.
I'm joking, but these haters actually exist. And at first, I wondered where these people came from, because Mortal Kombat 11 had crazy combos too, 70% damage or more, and the combos were easier. And sometimes you didn't even need a meter. 1 or 2 crushing blows into fatal blow, and boom, 80% damage in one combo. So where were all these combo haters during Mortal Kombat 11?
Yes, but you could handle and block a lot of that stuff. There was mechanics in place so you could counter everything that the game had to offer. And yes, the I forget what they were called, the fucking blows that you're talking about. They did do a little bit more damage, but it wasn't always a thing, and there was ways to get around that shit. So, and again, it's rare to fight pro players because they're a minority, and most people or some people just spammed broken shit. The rest of the people were just trying to fucking fight. Again, nowadays it's not like that. Nowadays it's most people fight spamming and exploiting game mechanics because that's more important to get you a win than to actually take the time to get some real skill on your, but
that's when I realized they were hiding. That's right, they knew their opinion was dumb, and that people would mock them for hating combos in a Mortal Kombat game. But now that
no, I think what you're doing and people like you like to do is you like to take something that people have an honest gripe about, and you like to twist it in a way to make them look like they're stupid, or that they're crying about something else when they're being specific to your face. See, when I used to be part of Fate Discord, for example, people love to do the same goddamn thing there. The people who are currently his little bitch mods would essentially like to do the very same thing. You would explain something to them, and then you're specific in what you're saying, and then they would like to twist it around and turn it into something it's not. Right? Sorry about that. Coffee tastes really good. And that's where a lot of the issues come from, is that when you're trying to explain something to someone and you're being specific, they go around and insult your fucking intelligence by making you seem like you're a fucking dumbass that doesn't know what you're talking about, and then twisting what you're saying into something it's not. If I tell you I like this red car because these reasons, and you're telling me 20 times that I said that I think red cars are factually good, or that I said that I like blue cars, when I clearly stated in a full description that I like red cars because of this reason, and you're saying no, that I said it was blue cars, or that I think this is a fact or whatever, when I never stated that, it's just asinine. It's annoying. It's fucking. And then you get butthurt when people start giving you attitude like they did, which is why I'm no longer there. Because hypocrisy.
tons of people are hating on Mortal Kombat 1 for various reasons, these combo haters now feel emboldened to speak out. So let me be the one to call you out. If you truly think Mortal Kombat 1 is bad because the combos are long, then you are dumb.
See, your whole calling out thing makes no sense because you're stupid. Again, I'll use the Fate goons as an example, because they like to call people out, right? They have the same mindset of calling people out, but again, you know, it's for example, right? So there's this guy called Flaming Strike, and when I used to be in the server, Fate server, that would pretend that because he, you know, Liu Kang was basically carrying his ass in a lot of the fights, because he would use Liu Kang and start doing the same fucking combo over and over because you can't really do much about it. And you had some gripes with the game, like legit gripes. He would say that you don't know what you're fucking talking about, that you're dumb, and you just lack skill and etc. And then 5 minutes later, into him playing the fucking game, he starts bitching and complaining about this very fucking same thing that you're fucking complaining about, which makes no fucking sense. And that's the shit that I hate, because it's the same thing that True Underdog is doing, right? Essentially, you have gripes with the game, and they twist what you say, or they tell you that you have no fucking idea what you're talking about, and then 5 minutes later they're fucking crying about the same thing. So how does that make fucking sense? How are you going to tell me, for example, that the reason I'm pissed off about the game is because I like skill and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about and I just need to get better, and then 5 minutes later you're getting beat by the very same shit I'm bitching about, and then you start bitching about the very same things I'm bitching about? It's like there's a lack of self-awareness here. And then you go ahead and twist it into something it's not, so you can make the other person look bad, and people are stupid enough to fall for that. It's like they say, being stupid must be a fucking bliss experience. Because when you're stupid, you can never be wrong, and everyone else is a fucking retard to you. But when you have a fucking brain, you're the one suffering because you have to deal with fucking dumbasses all the fucking time. It's like being stupid is a fucking, it's like being in heaven or something. I don't fucking understand it. Like, there's so much fucking reality. There's so much denial of reality in this world, because people want to be fucking delusional, but yet with this so much denying of reality comes and bites you in the ass, and you still try to fucking deny it for some fucking I just don't get it. It's fucking stupid. It's a fucking miserable existence, because you have to deal with fucking people like this. Like, that makes no fucking sense to me. So how are you gonna go around talking about how you're the moral high ground of telling people, mocking them and shit, but you're over here contradicting yourself and twisting people's words? Like, at least be fucking honest. If you're gonna criticize someone, always be fucking honest about what you're criticizing. Don't fucking make a clown out of yourself pretending you're some high moral standard, and then, you know what I mean? It's like fucking Mike Hollow, which is fucking annoying. There's nothing more that I hate when stupid fucking people are over here trying to act like they have the high moral ground. For example, when Ray or Reality Base said something about spear chuckers, which every fucking race did, so I don't know how the fuck that's a slur. Something stupid and new for retards, I guess. And essentially, Mike Hollow comes out of nowhere acting like we have to micromanage every thought that every fucking person has. Like, it's fucking annoying. It's like, it's the same thing that Abba and Preach do, which pisses me the fuck off sometimes, and I watch them. And it's like, why are you sitting here pretending, because someone said a word or someone doesn't like a group of people? Who cares, bro? Like, you can't micromanage everyone. It's fucking annoying, because I promise you, a lot of people who love to micromanage people's thoughts and who they hate or don't hate, I can dive deep into your brain and find out a lot of fucked up shit that you think about on your private life, or say on your private life, or say in your head. And what you want to get canceled for that too? That's just fucking stupid. We all think about shit we shouldn't be thinking about. We all say shit that we shouldn't be thinking about. Like, no one's fucking perfect. We all have skeletons in our closet. Like, why do you people always pretend like everyone's a fucking saint perfect? Like, I hate that shit. It's like saying the N-word. Who the fuck cares, bro? Like, why are you bitching and moaning when you say it too? Oh, but because we're taking the word back. Who cares? I'm fucking brown. I don't give a fuck if a white person says it. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't hurt my fucking feelings. But here we are fucking crying about it all the fucking time. I hate this fucking moral high ground when you do the same goddamn thing. If you're gonna preach about something, make sure you're not the one fucking doing it too. There's nothing worse than having people, and I probably could have worded all that better, but there's nothing more that I fucking hate is when someone tries to impose themselves to be this moral standard that they're not, while being a bunch of fucking hypocrites, acting like it's like throwing stones in a glass house. It's hypocritical as shit to pretend that you're this high moral person when you're not. It's the same shit that pissed me off in the Fate server as well. So there's this dumbass named Dragoon X Bandit who always acts like he's above, you know, the leftist bullshit. He's above arguing with people and judging and all this other shit. And then 5 minutes later, when you disagree with him on some shit, starts acting the very same fucking way that a leftist would. Same shit. And then when you call people out on that, and when you call the fucking dumbass out on their behavior, guess what happens? They turn into a bunch of fucking leftist morons and start getting personal and attacking you personally with low blows and etc. of private things you tell them, and they're supposed to be your fucking friend, and they get fucking triggered and start acting like fucking children. Like, grow, like, that's the same shit that's the shit that gets me mad. It's like, how are you gonna pretend that you're above all this shit, but yet you do it too? It's, again, stupid. Twisting people's words, or twisting what people have a gripe about, and then acting like you're gonna be the moral high standard of something you're not, is fucking crazy to me.
Kombat 9 had long combos, Mortal Kombat X had long combos, and in Mortal Kombat 11, the combos were long too and required less meter. So the fact you're complaining about Mortal Kombat 1 proves you're either lying about having played the past games, or you only played with your buddies. Which one?
Okay, so in MK9, the combos were longs because you had to have the skill to be able to pull them off. MKX is the same thing. MK11 started getting easier, and MK1 is just horribly easy. It's not the same thing, bro. Again, if you're gonna make an argument and a point, make sure you think about it before you open your yap. Right? Like, think about the shit you say before you say them, because that makes no sense. It's not the same thing. Sure, they all have long combos, but the reason the long combos happen is for different reasons. Most of them were skill based. Currently, in this fucking MK1 game, it's not skill based.
Once again, it's completely fine, but stop pretending you know what you're talking about. The Mortal Kombat series has always had crazy long combos since the very beginning. And in fact, in the 3D era, these combos got even crazier. So it really does perplex me how people hate Mortal Kombat 1 for having long combos. In my mind, they're either brand new to the series or only played it at a really casual level and never tried to learn the combos.
Yeah, the combos were not really long in the and they were not really long in the 3D era. I mean, you could do combos, but it was extremely hard to pull off, especially with the fact that, you know, I'm at a loss for words here. Essentially, like, the gameplay was entirely different because of the fact that we don't have the technology that we have now. So, like, even then, that's not really an excuse, because Tekken could do combos and etc. It's just that the 3D era of Mortal Kombat was not really combo heavy, I guess, in the sense that Tekken was. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. Look, I'm going to say this as a disclaimer. If you don't know what I'm trying to say, before you accuse me and assume I'm trying to say some bullshit that I'm not, first ask me what I meant by what I said, and then I can explain it to you better. Because sometimes, you know, I don't use a script, so it's kind of hard to... Sometimes I'll slip up and say something that sounds a little off or weird, or doesn't make sense. Then just ask me in the comment section and I can explain it better. Don't be an asshole.
Alright, but next up we have the story haters. These people pretend that a bad story mode immediately makes the entire game garbage. And you know what that means? They're not fighting game players. Plenty of great fighting games have terrible story modes, but guess what? The gameplay is still incredible, and that's what fighting game players are here for.
Yes, people are... I agree to a certain degree, but a shitty story mode, because different people play fighting games for different reasons. Some people play it for the single player aspect. Some people play it for the most people play it for the most multiplayer. Some people play it for the multiplayer, and others play it for both. So if the people who are playing it for the single player aspect think the story mode is shit, and they don't really play multiplayer unless it's with friends, then to them the game is kind of shit because of the story. And I guess that would make sense because of that context. So that's the thing that a lot of you people lack, and that's called context. If you don't know what context is, I suggest going on Google.
Spoiler alert, most gamers buy the game for the gameplay, not the story. That's what movies are for. Now, of course, if the story is great, then that's a fantastic bonus. I love when video games have great stories, but it's not why I buy a fighting game. For example, Tekken 7 had one of the worst story modes.
You said it right there. It's not why you buy the game, but you're not, everybody else is not you. People buy fighting games for different reasons. Some buy it for story, some buy it for the single player stuff, some buy it for multiplayer, some don't even play story and just go right into multiplayer. It's like me with Tekken. Tekken, I haven't played story mode at all. I just go to the play online because I enjoy the game online.
I've seen in recent memory, but guess what? I loved that game. It was crazy fun, and I played it every week with my buddies because Tekken 7 is fun. Yeah, it was fun to mock the story mode because it was so terrible, but it's not why I bought the game, so who really cares? And for the record...
Actually, I care about both, depending on the game. And if the story mode is shit, yeah, and the gameplay is good, that's okay, but the story mode, it doesn't stop the story mode from being shit and being a little disappointed that the story mode was ass. So there would be this person named Breezy and the Fate server, essentially. He was a former pro player or whatever, so he would basically be like, so there would be this debate about, you know, the sexy women being missing from the game, and his argument was something similar. So he would say, oh, so if the gameplay is good and the women are ugly, then that means the game is good, essentially. And I was like, no, because it's not just about gameplay. Every aspect of the game has to be good, right? So just because the girls are hot, for example, and the gameplay shit, suddenly doesn't make the game better. Sure, it makes me want to play the game a little bit more because the girls are hot, but ultimately, it's not going to be fun to play because the game mechanics are shit. I already bought a $2 game because when me and this motherfucker used to be friends, that I know, right? Or I knew. He made me buy a $2 fighting game because the girls were sexy and you can customize them and etc. And I bought the $2 game. The gameplay was bland as fuck, but I enjoyed it simply for the fact that the women were beautiful. But after a couple of days of playing it, the game didn't really have much going for it except the hot women. So it's not just the hot women themselves, it's the whole package. The women have to be beautiful, the guys have to look like Chads because it's a fighting game and it will make sense, unless they're comedic relief. The story has to be good, but the story is not just the main thing, you know what I mean? It has to, every part of the aspect of the game has to complement each other, which is something I don't think a lot of people understand. It's the same thing with the whole Breezy situation, that he doesn't seem to understand that it's not just about gameplay alone. You know what I mean? You know, the characters have to look appealing. The gameplay has to be good for people to enjoy. The story has to be decent, at least. But there are certain, but not everything is excusable, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. You know, you could have ugly characters and still have a good game, but it wouldn't be as good as if the girls or the characters were appealing, which would make the game even better and more likely to be played. If your characters look ugly as shit, it doesn't matter that the gameplay is good. People are not going to buy it. Look at Concord. And I don't even think the gameplay in that was good either. Ugly ass fucking characters that are unappealing, and the gameplay is kind of shit. Even if the gameplay in that game was good, people probably will not be happy with the game because the characters don't look appealing or badass or sexy. These things you have to take. There's a lot of variables into the whole situation that people have to take account for, essentially. And I know it took me like 6 years just to make that point. There's a lot of variables that you have to account for.
Mortal Kombat 11 had a much worse story mode. There was a new plot hole in that story mode every 15 minutes, and the characters acted like idiots all the time, and the main villain was garbage. Kronika is literally the worst Mortal Kombat character ever made. Yes, I'm counting D'Vorah. Kronika is worse than D'Vorah. She supposedly made the entire universe, yet is somehow the dumbest character in the story. If you don't believe me, I made a full video about it. I'll put it right here on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I mean, plot holes will always exist in every story because if people were perfect, then stories would be perfect, but people are not perfect, so therefore there's gonna be issues with story. But as long as the overall story is good, people are gonna enjoy it. MK1's story was kind of shit. Well, not MK1, MK11's story was kind of shit. That's mostly why I hated it.
On screen. Check it out if you want to see why Kronika is such a bad villain. Mortal Kombat 11 had such a bad story mode that it makes the MK1 story haters even more hilarious because.
And I want to make a point about that because when MK11, the story mode was shit. It turned me off so bad. But it wasn't the only thing that turned me off from the game. But it was the main thing that turned me off from playing MK11. But I would rather play MK11 multiplayer than play MK1, if that makes sense. Like, for some people, one thing in the game can ruin it for them, like story mode. For the most part, story mode kind of ruined the game itself for me. But it's also other things as well. But it's the main thing that kind of fucked it up. Another one was the girls looking uglier and more covered up and etc. The DEI woke shit was also getting on my nerves. And yeah, but story mode was a big part of why, well, both DEI woke shit and the story mode are the main reasons why I didn't really like the game that much. And it's funny because despite the DEI bullshit, I was still willing to play the multiplayer stuff. But it was mostly the story that kind of turned me off. Like, there was some cool parts of the story, but most of it was just garbage. Essentially.
Because a lot of them will defend Mortal Kombat 11 in that same comment, and that's how you know their opinion is terrible. If you think Mortal Kombat 11 had a good story, then you must also think that Spider-Man 3 is the best in the trilogy, and there's no defending that. An opinion is an opinion at the end of the day, but don't be shocked when 90% of people make fun of you for having a terrible one. Now, I'm not...
Yeah, the problem is that you can't use the majority as an argument because the majority has been wrong in a lot of things. And also, the problem with this is that the majority is making fun of people like you. That's the crazy part. The majority of people don't like this game. The majority of people make fun of you and mock you because you're a dumbass. So when you say 90%, that's a lie because you can clearly see that in the numbers in the game. The game is probably, the last time I saw any numbers for the game, it was like a 700 or maybe 600 players. So clearly, that's not a majority. Concord had 700 players and it died. MK1 had 600 something players. That's not good. Not in the least bit. And I mean, and that's given the context of the game being shit. There's games that are just super old and still have a fan base of 600 people. And that's good enough because the game is super old and people are still playing it. That's totally different than MK1 having 600 people because it's bad.
I'm not going to pretend that Mortal Kombat 1 has a perfect story mode. I'm not a big fan of the multiverse shenanigans, and I also don't like many of the changes made. I understand it's a new era, but having Hanzo not be Scorpion feels weird, and having Sector and Cyrax changed into women...
Actually, no, I disagree with that. I think that having Kuai Liang as Scorpion is more respectful to the legacy of Hanzo because they were previously friends. They went from enemies to friends. And I think that there would be no one better to take the mantle, even though it's not really a mantle, but... I'll call it mantle for the sake of argument. Take the mantle of Scorpion. You know, anyone. It's very respectful that, you know, Kuai Liang would be the person to take the mantle of Scorpion. And it makes more sense in this universe because the rivalry is deepened by the brotherhood because they're brothers. You know, having the same guys fighting each other, hating each other, who are from different clans, and can't get the fuck over their bullshit, gets old eventually. Which is why they eventually became friends. But then he died. So, like, you can only... It's like the tournament thing, right? It's fun for a few games, but eventually you gotta get... You know what I mean? Like, you gotta do more with the story than just, oh yeah, it's a fighting tournament. Oh yeah, it's a fighting tournament. Oh shit, it's another fighting tournament. No, you gotta do more with the story than just fighting tournaments. That can still be part of the game, but it shouldn't be the overall plot. The tournament should be the overall plot, maybe for the first 2 games, or maybe that's a little reaching, but maybe the first game and then the rest is just story wise, depending on how long you want to drag the tournament thing. But you can't drag it for too long because eventually it gets boring.
And also feels weird and unnecessary. There's plenty of things I don't like about the new story in Mortal Kombat 1, but I'm not going to pretend that makes the game bad, because it doesn't. Not only does Mortal Kombat 1 have much better gameplay than Mortal Kombat 11, but the story mode was also better too. That's my...
I mean, it can, though. Again, people's perspectives on things are very different. If the story mode isn't great, most people are going to be turned off by the... Not most people, but some of the people are going to be turned off by that. If the gameplay is not good, most people are going to be turned off by that. If the women don't look good, some people are going to be turned off by that. Different people have different expectations when it comes to a video game. But, you know, again, it's a multi-variable situation. And there's context behind why people, you know, have issues. And at the same time, I'll go back to what Asmongold said. People can hate the game for whatever fucking reason they want. And they don't have to legitimately explain themselves or defend themselves on it. They could just have that opinion, and that's it. And you can't do shit about it, because it's not your opinion, it's theirs.
My opinion. You can disagree, but I think way more facts are on my side here. Alright, but now finally, it's time for the last...
That's the last thing you're using, my guy. I don't think you've been using facts at all.
Group of haters, and that's the people who claim Mortal Kombat 1 has no content. That claim is outright absurd to say out loud. And to make things even crazier, these same people will claim that previous games had more content. For example...
Yes, the previous games had more content. There was more things to do in the game, and there was more cosmetics and more da 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 da. MK11 is trash, but it has more things to do than MK1. That's a fact. There's no bullshit, there's no lying, there's no coping behind that. That's 100% fact. It had more content. That's it. This game is a fucking cash grab. It's trash. It's an over-glorified mobile game. And even the mobile game was better, and it still got canceled.
They'll jump to MK9 because it had the challenge tower. Boy, that challenge tower was completed by most players in a week or so, if not the first month. It was guaranteed to be done with. And once you completed the challenge tower, there was no reason to keep playing it. Now compare that to Mortal Kombat 1, which has the Towers of Time that always give you new modes and new challenges and new unlocks. And also the invasion mode. I know plenty of people don't like invasion mode, but also a lot of people do now. It's gotten a lot better. And every 6...
It's gotten a lot better, but people still don't like it. If it were up to people, that game mode would have been gone. But, you know, the devs still want to push this shitty-ass game mode because they have no choice.
60 days or so, we get a fresh new invasion mode with more stuff to unlock and more reasons to play. So no, Mortal Kombat 9 did not have more content than Mortal Kombat 1. And honestly, Mortal Kombat X had less content than both, and yet people...
Alright, I think I'm done here, man. This is too long, and my brain cells are hurting. But you eventually get the gist of what I'm trying to say and call out this clown on. I'm going to stop here because my brain cells are hurting, and I just feel like I'm becoming more stupider. And I know that's not a word. You know, each time I hear this fucking guy talk, so I'm just gonna leave it here. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys for being here. Sorry I haven't been posting much. I know you guys want to see me post and stuff, but you know, I can't help that. I've been sick and I injured my neck and whatever. But hopefully I'll keep making more content. By the way, you can also suggest stuff in the comment section. I don't mind reading comment sessions. Reading the comments for suggestions on the next video, because sometimes I don't even know what the hell to talk about. But yeah, let me know what you think. And remember, people, where the white women at? This has been your boy Seeker with another one, and I'll see you next time. Later.